Great. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RSC Applied Polymers Showcase webinar. My name is Emily Pentzer, and I'm an associate professor in chemistry, material science, and engineering, and chemical engineering at Texas A&M University in College Station, Texas. I'm also the editor-in-chief of RSC Applied Polymers. I'm joined today by Jeremy Allen, the executive editor of the journal, and Professor Rachel Azoulay, who's an associate editor with the journal. We're happy to share with you recent highlights. RSC Applied Polymers was launched earlier this year and is quickly becoming the premier home for research that addresses the application of polymers across materials, energy, and biology. Authors use synthesis and/or processing to understand how structure impacts not only properties, but also an application. They use both natural and synthetic polymers and address a wide range of societal issues, from the management of diabetic ocular complications to water retention in soil, to degradation of carbon fiber containing epoxy-based composites. And I think one of the best parts of our journal is that it is open access, so free to read. During this webinar, our associate editors and executive editor will introduce themselves and highlight a published paper, and we will also have pre-recorded segments from authors themselves. So first up, we have a recording from Professor Pengfei Cao, who's an associate editor with the journal.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pengfei Cao, the associate editor for RSC Applied Polymers. I'm the professor at Beijing University of Chemical Technology, China. Before joining BUCT, I was a staff scientist at Oak Ridge National Lab, USA. My current research interests are synthetic functional elastomers for energy-related applications. RSC Applied Polymers is the first journal emphasizing on functionality and applications of polymeric materials. I think this is really important for the international polymer communities because this will bridge the gap between the fundamental study and applied research. As an editorial board member, we are working hard to ensuring only accepting the high-quality research paper and research reviews in these new journals. I'm really excited that RSC Applied Polymers already have the first 2 issues published. Herein, I would like to highlight one paper from Professor Hideyuki Asuka, Japan. The title is the tetrazine functionalized styrene butadiene rubber with self-adhesion through zinc-nitrogen coordination. The paper has been selected as the journal cover of issue 2. As we know, adhesion between the cross-linked rubber is one of the most important processes for engineering the rubber product. However, the direct adhesion between cross-linked rubber without the surface treatment is quite difficult due to the restricted polymer chain mobility. Professor Asuka designed a novel cross-linked styrene butadiene rubber composite, which is having direct adhesion behavior without requiring pre-treatment. In this study, a tetrazine ligand complexed with zinc was selected to the formation of a reversible metal ligand cross-links inside this SBR composite. This complexation acts not only as a cross-link agent for efficient adhesion, but also as a reinforcing fillers to improve the mechanical robustness. Such approach is expected to contribute to the repairing process of the rubber materials, which will save a lot of energy and reduce rubber waste.
Great. And so thank you, Pengfei. I've already emailed you, thank you, but thank you on this webinar as well. And so next I'll pass it over to Rachel.
Thank you, Emily. And hello, everybody. So I'm Rachel Azoulay, an associate editor of RSC Applied Polymers. I'm pleased to take in part in this webinar to talk about work recently published in our journal on applied polymers I'm a full professor at University Grenoble-Alpes in France, and my research work focuses on polysaccharide chemistry and physical chemistry to design smart biomaterials for advanced application, mainly in health. So the paper I would like to highlight today is entitled Aromatic Polypeptide Amphiphiles for Drug Absorption, a New Approach for Drug Overdose Treatment. So it is a paper from Carnegie Mellon University in the USA. So this work addresses the relationships among chemistry, polymer architecture, and properties to allowing to propose mechanism insight mechanisms critical to the performance of polymer for use in reversing drug overdoses. And the goal is indeed to develop smart polymer materials as an alternative to activated charcoal to decontaminate the gastrointestinal tract from toxic drugs. And although activated charcoal is currently used to an effective adsorbent, there are many side effects following respiratory or oral administration. And as drug-related overdose and deaths continue to increase in many parts of the world, there is a need of a new drug-reversing agent. So to tackle this important problem, the author proposed to develop a new class of aromatic polypeptide amphiphiles as adsorbent for binding and eliminating drugs from the stomach and intestines. And more specifically, they prepared a water-soluble, pH-responsive block containing cationic lysine and anionic glutamic residues to confer solubility and also to promote adsorption of drug through electrostatic interaction. And then they extended this block with hydrophobic aromatic polytyrosine, which plays a role of, which promotes the formation of particles which sequester the adsorbed drug and which also facilitate pi-pi stacking interaction with aromatic drug molecules. So after confirming the structure of this original block, using different and complementary characterization tools, the author investigated the solution behavior and also the adsorption performance and the cell compatibility. So what I would like to say is that this paper combines rigorous fundamental work with very interesting and critically needed application. And I really enjoyed reading this paper.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Very nice to see Stephanie's paper highlighted. We now have a recording from Professor Peter Widge.
Hello, my name is Peter Wich. I'm a research group leader in the School of Chemical Engineering at the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, and I lead the UNSW research labs for functional biopolymers. As part of my job as associate editor at RSC Applied Polymers, I handle many of the bio-related manuscripts or submissions. And in this context, I got very excited about the following paper that was published in one of our recent first issues. It's called Simultaneous Photo-Induced Polymerization and Surface Modification by Microfluidic Spinning to Produce Functionalized Polymer Microfibers, the effect on the surface modification on cell adhesion. This is a research paper led by the team of Delphine Chan Seng from the Institut Charles Sadron at the University of Strasbourg in France. I thought it was a very interesting paper since it describes the use of a process called microfluidic spinning to produce functionalized polymer microfibers in a one-step process. This is important. It's a one-step process. For this, they used a capillary-based microfluidic device that had two miscible coaxially co-flowing phases. The main construct of the polymer fibers were formed by the photopolymerization of polyethylene glycol diacrylate in the core phase, and the wrapping and surface phase, there were molecules present that were reactive towards these acrylate groups of the polyethylene glycol core material. These were mainly molecules that had multiple thiol groups, but they were also showing other molecules like amines that could be incorporated by this way in a one-step process. They then looked at different concentration and flow speeds to allow them to fine-tune the final thiol amounts on the surface of these polymer fibers. Looking at the results of the resulting polymer fibers, they were able to show that many different surface functionalities were able to be introduced, and in particular the thiol groups had an impact on the wetting properties and surface roughness of these fibers. And this was beneficial in particular for cell binding. They incubated these fibers with raw macrophages and human colon cancer cell lines and could see an increased cell adhesion to the surface of these fibers. I thought this was a very interesting and impactful approach because usually the modification of microfibers is done in a post-production step. But this paper reports for the first time the production of polymer fibers that can be functionalized in the one-step process. This reduces cost and time needed to obtain these functionalized fibers, and the potential use cases are very broad. Everywhere where you need functional groups on the surface of polymer microfibers, for example in biomedicine, tissue engineering, but also in non-bio-related applications like fiber optics, sensors, or water treatment. If this is of interest for you, have a look online on our website and read the full paper. And yeah, with this I give back to Emily and the RSC team in the live stream.
Great. Thank you so very much, Peter. I'll now hand the screen over to Dr. Jeremy Allen, who's the executive editor for the journal.
Great. Thanks, Emily. And hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy Allen. I'm an executive editor at the RSC. I've been with the organisation for about 9.5 years and worked on multiple journals over my time. My role on RSC Applied Polymers is to manage the journal for the RSC, and I work really closely with Emily and the rest of the editorial board. And it's been an honour so far to be part of this new journal and seeing the direction it's going in. So our team in the editorial office has been working closely with the authors of our first papers and to celebrate and help promote their articles together. This has included reaching out to them so that we can learn more about their work and why they wanted to publish this research. So it's my pleasure to introduce a series of 4 short excerpts by some of these authors, giving them the chance to describe their work and key achievements in their own words. The full videos can all be found on our journal blog, so if you're interested in learning more about this research, read the article and check out their videos as well. The 4 papers cover a range of polymeric materials for various applications, from thin film transistors and strain sensors to energy harvesting, nanofabrics and bioelectric substrates for the electrochemical controlled release of therapeutic agents. And cue the video.
Organic electronics are a next-generation class of technology, pushing for faster processing and enhanced biocompatibility that can improve the human user experience. Pi-conjugated semiconducting polymers are an important material for organic devices, as they act as the semiconducting layer throughout the device for charge transport. In this paper, a unique asymmetric iso-indigo bithiaphene polymer with 1 alkyl side chain and 1 polar side chain was synthesized along with 2 symmetric materials to investigate the influence of asymmetry on materials' performance and properties. To improve processability of the device, a long branched alkyl chain was incorporated.
For the electrical properties, here we basically had 3 main demonstrations, right, where we highlighted the potential of these materials. And first is the strain sensing application, right? which is rather really growing in the field of medical device development. And we found here that these materials could respond to mechanical deformation or strain. And we showed that these materials are useful for regulating the flow of current. And we denoted this how by denoting that we could regulate the amount of current that flows into an LED bulb and regulate the brightness of the light. And then we also showed that, customizable resistors are possible, where traditionally these sort of systems are from rigid systems that are not flexible. And so in this case, we showed flexible electronic materials for resistor applications, which you can get on demand without synthesizing the material from the ground up.
Yeah. So overall, this was a really exciting project. We're very proud to be a part of it, where we've sort of, introduced composite materials with self-healing properties. We've demonstrated new electrical functions like those customizable resistors, and also shown their potential in strain sensing.
I'm really happy to share my views on the work that I have just published in RSC Applied Polymers on a new multifunctional energy harvester based on mica nanosheets dispersed polyvinylidene fluoride nanofabrics with the piezocapacitive, piezoelectric, and triboelectric effects. This study indicates that the nanofabric developed by us could be potentially utilized to fabricate energy harvesting devices to power healthcare devices, IoT devices, and nano-micro devices. Thank you very much.
Our innovation lies in the development of an electrochemically addressable system. This system enables specific conjugation and controlled release of connexin 43 antisense, which is a molecule with significant potential for wound healing. We optimized the system for both carbon cloth and electrospun fiber substrates in order to achieve a flexible and porous platform. The key element in our research is the role of the conducting polymer, which serves as the foundation for our electrochemical system. Conducting polymers with tau groups enables us to achieve specific conjugation and control release of therapeutic agents through reversible oxidation and reduction cycles.
Great. Thank you very much to the authors for submitting those videos. So it is now my great pleasure to briefly highlight 3 additional papers that have recently been published in RSC Applied Polymers. First, from the Zhao and Zhao groups in China, a paper titled Multifunctional Maxine PAA Organohydrogel as a Flexible Strain Sensor for Wearable Human-Machine Interactions. Here, the authors prepared conductive organohydrogels by the in situ polymerization of acrylic acid in a crosslinker in an aqueous solution of Maxine nanosheets, which are transition metal carbides. They then partially replaced the water with glycerol and examined the impact of the percent of replacement on performance and found a Goldilocks effect. The organohydrogel has excellent mechanical resilience to deformation. It can self-heal, and it is stable at low temperatures, so no ice formation, and retains performance at low humidity, so low water evaporation. It could also easily be attached to body parts and detect human movement, including voice monitoring. This paper is available to read in the first issue of the journal. The second paper is an international collaboration between the IAIR group in India and the IM group in South Korea, titled Dynamic Quenching Mechanisms Based on Detection of Carcinogenic Chromium-6 in Water and on Economical Paper Test Strips via a Conjugated Polymer. In this paper, the authors developed a sensing platform based on a conjugated polymer that has alternating fluorine and thiodiazole units with pendant cationic groups. They demonstrated that the polymer is highly sensitive to chromium-6 and highly selective by comparing the performance to interfering metal ions and different anions. The system has a low limit of detection of 6.8 parts per billion, which is lower than the World Health Organization safety limit. The authors also deposited the polymer onto simple lab filter paper and showed that they could use this to visually detect chromium-6. By using a Stern-Volmer plot and evaluating time-resolved photoluminescence data, the authors established that a dynamic quenching mechanism is occurring. And I'll just make a note that this paper contains a very nice table comparing this polymer-based system to others for the optical detection of chromium-6. This paper is now available online and has been published and will be in the next issue. And the final paper that I'll highlight today is from the Barra group here in the US. and it's titled Experimental and Computational Studies of the Effects of C2 Methylation on the Properties and Gas Separation Performance of Polyimide Ionine Membranes. Here, the authors use a polymer with both imide and imidazolium units in the polymer backbone and evaluate the impact of replacing hydrogen on the imidazolium with a methyl group. They first applied quantum mechanical calculations and molecular dynamics simulations on the monomers and found that methylation decreases intermolecular interactions between the cation and counterion. Experimentally, they cast the polymer into ionic liquid-containing membranes and characterized the thermal properties and morphologies, as well as gas permeation. As expected based on computation, methylation decreased the chain packing, but this also led to diffusivity to significantly decrease, with a slight increase in solubility of CO2. So the methylated polymer had a lower gas permeability than the non-methylated analog, guiding researchers to tailor interchain interactions to impact performance using a combined computation and experimental approach. This paper is available in the first issue. So in closing, I hope that this event has highlighted some of the excellent works that have been recently published in RSC Applied Polymers. I've been truly impressed by the work that has been submitted and published, and how this journal seamlessly fits into the RSC publishing portfolio. I look forward to the continued growth of the journal and reading future contributions. I think we can all agree that polymers are all around us, that naturally occurring polymers are critical to life, and synthetic polymers make modern life possible. As scientists and engineers, we have the opportunity to define the applications of polymers and address how we can make their use more sustainable, improve their performance in current applications, and take them into new frontiers. So I'll say thank you very much for watching, whether you're here with us live or enjoying the recording. And so on behalf of Pingfei, Rachel, Peter, Jeremy, and myself, we invite you to engage with RSC Applied Polymers as a reader, author, and reviewer. Thank you very much, and this concludes the webinar.